Hey everyone, this is the video for the binomial distribution project for Math 105. All you need to have open on your screen is your spreadsheet software, maybe it's Excel, Minitab, or I'm using Numbers because I'm using an iPad, and your browser. Go to fangraphs.com and choose your team. You should have selected a team at some point this semester. Pretend my team is the Reds. Gonna click Stats. Select season 2019. That's what we're interested in. And I'm gonna choose a player who's played in a good number of games. You see right there? And I'm gonna choose Eugenio Suarez. So I'm just gonna click on his name. I get his whole profile. Gonna go down to game log. I'm gonna click Major Leagues, season 2019, and I also want to choose standard. Okay, this gives his total play experience during 2019, every single game. Now I'm going to do two things really quickly. Number one, I'm going to note that his batting average is 271, right, for the season. Let me actually just go ahead and just remember that. Actually, I won't even type it in. I'm just going to remember that. His batting average is 271, okay? But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this stuff. I'm going to select all the stuff, right? Didn't want to do that, right? You want to make sure that you start at date, go all the way down, right? So the two things that I want to do while I'm doing this is think about what is his batting average and how many games is he playing, because that's going to come up a little bit later, right? So I'm just going to do this. It'll take me a sec. Come on. Perfect. Copy. If this didn't give it to you, then right-click it with your mouse and do copy. Right, and just quickly, let's note that his average for the season was 271, and he played in 159 games. Okay, we're just gonna keep that in mind. Okay, gonna click that first cell and paste it. Look at that, beautiful. Whole bunch of data right there. Okay, now this has happened to me in the past. It's also happened to some people in the class where you can't see the text because the text is white and its background is white for some reason. So go to format cells or whatever. For me, I click that paintbrush. For text color, I change it to black. So now the background's still white, but the text color is black so I can see it. And we're interested in only 3 columns. The date column, the at-bats column, and the hits column. Everything else can go. So I'm going to select everything else, delete it, all deleted, all deleted. Okay, didn't need all that stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and cut that column, right? If you're wondering how I did that, right, you can click the column, cut, and paste, cut, and paste. For some reason, it kind of whitens out those little, sort of dilutes the gray background of those cells. I don't know why. Whatever. So anyway, we've got our 3 columns: date, at-bats, and hits. Now, before I do anything else, I actually want to sort this date column from first to last instead of from most recent to most distant, okay? I want to do it the opposite, right? I want to do it in order. And if you're asked for the option on Excel, you want everything else to sort with that as well. You want at-bats and hits to be sorted the same way. So it shouldn't just be this first column that changes, it should be these 2 as well. Okay? Now, just going to remember again, his batting average is 271. I'm going to put that right there. I'm also going to put some other columns there, some other labels. We'll come back to that current batting average a bit later. Then we're going to put in here binomial probability. We'll do that in a sec. We're going to do his expected number of 0 hit, 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, and 4 hit games. Then we're going to see how many he actually had. And then last but not least, we're going to do chi-squared. Okay? That's that Pearson residual that we've discussed in class, okay? And maybe for observed hits, actually, I'll put that he was in 159 games, right? Played 159 games, okay? So anyway, binomial distribution, remember, it involves successes, trials, and the probability of success. What we're going to do is we're going to enter 5 binomial distribution formulas because we're going to assume that he had 4 at-bats per game. Now, obviously, this is not the case. Obviously, he had more than 4 sometimes and less than 4 plenty of times. But still, the assumption of 4 is a good one. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the probability that he went 0 for 4 in a game, given that his batting average was 271. Well, that's going to be 1, right? So I do, just to be clear, I did equals 1, just to be clear, sorry. Equals, there we go. 1 times probability of success, and it's important that you click on that cell, raised to the 0, because you didn't get any hits, times 1 minus, again, that cell, raised to the 4th. Okay? Decimal, right? Should be between 0 and 1. Should be close to 25%. Should be close-ish to his average. Okay? Now, what's the probability that he goes 1 for 4? That's going to be equals 4 times his batting average raised to the 1 times 1 minus batting average raised to the 3, right? Because he had 1 success and 3 outs. What if he goes 2 for 4? What's that probability, right? Well, that's going to be 6 times batting average squared times 1 minus batting average, close parentheses, square that. Okay. What about the probability goes 3 for 4? Well, that's going to be 4, right? Again, equals 4 times average raised to the 3 this time. He got 3 hits, times 1 minus batting average to the 1, right? Because he made only 1 out. That's a pretty rare occurrence, right? If he gets on base roughly 27% of the time, or if he gets a hit 27% of the time, he shouldn't be getting 3 hits too many games. And in fact, he doesn't. We would expect about 6% of the time. Last but not least, equals 1 times, oh man, he went 4 for 4. He got 4 hits. Raise his batting average to the 4th times 1 minus, note that parenthesis, batting average, oh, whoops, that's not what we wanted. Sorry, batting average, that's what we wanted. Raised to the 0. And that's very, very rare, right? Okay. So them's your probabilities. Now, what we want to do in this case, I don't really like all those decimals, so let's format them accordingly so that maybe we don't have too many decimals. Just the hundredths is fine, okay? Now we want to see, based on these probabilities, how many hits we would expect for him to have in the season per game. Like, you know, how many times did he have a 0-hit game? How many times should he have had a 1-hit, 2-hit, 3-hit, or 4-hit game? And maybe I'll also put in here just a reminder that he played 159 games. Okay? So all I'm going to do is equals this value right here times 159. Equals this value here times 159. Equals this value. This value times 159. Right, and we just keep doing this. Right, so what this means is that knowing that he was a 271 hitter in 2019, we would have expected him to have about maybe 45 0-hit games, 66, 67 1-hit games, about 37 2-hit games, 9-ish 3-hit games, and maybe 1 4-hit game. Now what we're going to do is find out how many he actually had. Now you can go ahead and tediously count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boring. Takes forever. Instead, let's go ahead and sort this column and use just a little bit of subtraction, right? We note that 0 starts on the second column and ends on the 59th, right? So that's actually 58 0 columns. 58 times he has 0 hits. That's why we needed that hit column, right? Okay, now, how many times did he have a one-hit game? Well, one-hit game ends on 118, and it begins on 60. So 59 times he had a one-hit game. What about two-hit games? Well, it starts on 119, ends on 146. Oh, no, sorry, ends on 147. So that looks to me like it should be 29 two-hit games. And then for three-hit games, you could probably count this one, but it's 13, right? Right. I'll just kind of put that in observe. Whoops, everything's all messed up because we sorted based on hits. So you can either undo that if you'd like, or you can just resort ascending by the date. And that's why it's so nice to have the date column there. Okay. Anyway, remember your numbers. Just 29, 13, and 0. He didn't have any 4-hit games. A bummer. We didn't expect him to, though, right? Right. And then the last thing before we head out is we just want to compare these. How good an estimate did we make? Right. Well, it looks like his 0-hit games were a little bit of an underestimate. His number of 1-hit games are a bit of an overestimate. We also overestimated his number of 2-hit games, underestimated his 3-hit games, and maybe ever so slightly overestimated his 4-hit games, okay? But to see this more formally, we enter the chi-square formula. Equals, parentheses, observed minus expected quantity, right, close the parentheses, squared, divided by expected every time. Now here's a cute little trick you should be able to do. If you copy and then select these guys and then paste, let's paste the formulas. See if that works. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. If not, then just do the same exact thing you were doing before. Right? Look at that. Perfect. Now remember, you want your chi-square to be between 0 and 4. So it looks like my estimations were just good enough. Right? Even the 0-hit games, I was off by a little bit, but it was just good enough to be considered, a reasonable estimation. It looks like the binomial distribution was a reasonable way to predict his hit distribution.